Yeah. Yeah, we're recording and unmuted.
All right, let's go ahead and call this meeting in order. It's 10:01. We call it today's Port Commission meeting of February the 21st. Any comments, any people out there on YouTube, iTunes, or whatever the different.
We're on Zoom. And I mean, yeah, we're on Zoom. We have,
Zoom in or.
yeah, we have one person in attendance, but no comments.
With no comment being, then we're gonna move on to the consent agenda. Consent agenda 1 and 2. Consent agenda is approve the minutes of January the 17th of our regular meeting and accept the harbor master's inspection and maintenance report. Okay. We have a motion from Mike McGuire to accept the minutes. Raymond Butler is a second. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? No nays. Motion carries. I do note that James O'Neill is not here for the record.
I would like to ask a question about the commission and monthly inspections.
We'll get to that when we. So he's got an extensive presentation. A lot of the stuff for today's meeting will be under his umbrella. If you look at it and follow along, you'll know when you jump in or ask that question. Ms. Sue, if you would, please. Agenda item 3 is receiver finance for report to Carroll County payment revenue, balance and profit and loss. Yeah. There's some yadas in there.
So page 25 starts the person your tariff reports. When y'all are ready to move on, just let me know.
Thing notable on the tariff reports that's been on to the county agent. We all received the new county agent report months ago from Sue.
Yes, that is, I just passed that out. There's notations made on that report, labeled 1, 2, and 3. And they correspond with the 1, 2s, and 3s up next to the balances.
Have you had any response? I see we've got a second demand letter on Mr. Cox. Where
We can't get a hold of him.
just not answering.
If you remember that boat belonged to a Cherry Cox. What was this guy's name?
Chair.
Okay, what was the other guy's name? Cherry. Okay,
Jerry Cox.
he passed away. And he owed us quite a bit of money. His brother came in. What was his brother's name? Jerry. And so Jerry came in and picked up the balance. And anyway, he got sick. And we have not been yet able to get a hold of him. So, we started sending letters.
Matter of staying on top of it.
I have a question, Mr. Chairman, on that real quick. In a case like that, where we've been following this for some time, is there any way anything we can do to make sure that boat doesn't leave?
I don't think it'll leave. And I tell you, that's kind of why we started this process with these letters. He's got one more letter and we're going to, I don't know what you would call it. It's kind of like a mechanics lien, but it's not. And I've talked to Anne Marie about it a little bit. some of that other stuff that's going on that she's involved in. She's trying to figure it out as we speak, actually. So we're trying to find a different process. It's a little easier to clear these things up than sit on for months and months and months and years in some
We've
cases.
got a couple of those that have, they go into the years type of situation, which I said, probate one.
All right. One more quick question. The clay is just dead meat. We should wait this, take it off our table, write it on. See. Jody, you hear anything about it? Clay? No.
And, I mean, we don't have anything official saying it's dead. I mean, in reality, we're probably not going to get that, but I don't have anything official at this point yet.
So at some point in time, we will,
We have acquired the leases and the property.
Hey,
And
well,
this-
I mean,
this
what's
amount is just an arrears.
right, what's on here is still the pre-petition
right,
amounts, right?
So this can ride it out until this thing is settled.
Right, because nothing's been settled yet.
It's post on.
Sir?
It's a post on, not pre on.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Oh,
but it can take years to clear it off.
No.
Right now, at this time. I'm
The
sure
posts we got
we'll get
paid
something
well,
together
see,
to
we've
leave.
got 2 + 3 + 4 +, so. Yeah, at some point in time, I'd like to keep these balances on there. This is not affecting y'all. This is actually helping out the financials. See, you guys have these in your receivable balances. At some point in time, we will make a decision on that. We can consult. We've got the audit going on right now, but and the auditors will make suggestions. What we'll probably do is create an allowance account. But until that we get something official from the bankruptcy courts, I feel like it's necessary to keep these balances on
I
here.
understand they're fighting tooth and nail to keep it in 11. So that they continue to try to reorganize and wind this down. So there may be some kind of relief for us down the road. But they're just.
Well, and you know, so realize too, yeah, there might be, but we are probably considered an unsecured creditor. So, but again, we're working on it, and
Our lease, even though we had a contract, our lease is an unsecured credit, unsecured debt.
yes.
I believe so.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Good, favorite names. But let me ask you,
First position then,
post filing, that's supposed to be secured.
automatically can.
So I'm questioning, who do we have pursuing that, Jody? Anybody?
Well, we're working with Kevin
We'll come back with some information on that.
because,
I'm not answering now, please, Jody, I'm not.
no, I mean, it's Kevin, our attorney.
Yeah.
But I'll have to go back and look because we had a settlement for all the post petition stuff. And so all that should be on here is pre-petition. And we had a settlement for the post petition and they paid everything except for, they still haven't paid the water bill. But they paid for all the post petition
Well,
stuff.
post is, there's 60 days or 90 days on here, and that's post date. I mean, I don't know.
But then, I mean, I don't know that we'll have to get with Karen and see exactly how, because I don't think this is.
I'd like for us to be able to research this and then come back to you and not discuss this, because there could be and maybe some error in how she handled some of the payments.
Yeah,
in the
because
system. We did receive payment for just about everything that was coming to us. And it could be that adjustments weren't made properly in the system.
yeah,
Let's see if we can follow up on that. We want that out there forever.
No.
But there's a possibility, because I was of the opinion that we have a first leading position on that. And as the court got settled, it may have to go to chapter 7 before we receive any settlement. Let's move on.
yeah. Well, I'll find out for sure on that because that something doesn't look right.
They do have significant personal assets.
Well, that's why they're fighting.
So therefore, a lot of them, They could pay the whole thing off.
Let's move on to, agenda item, sub C, payment report.
That starts on page 41. There aren't any questions on that report. We can move on to the revenue and expenditure report, which starts on page 44. So as far as your budget year is concerned, you're at 33.3% into your this year's budget. And if you look to the far right, we give you a percent of budget, so that means that your total expenditures year to date compared to your budget, most of your items are right in there at where they should be on budget. And as far as your expenditures, you would hope that your expenditures are much less than where you are year to date. And you know, barring your projects. So, and your expenditures are coming in as expected or better. So overall, you're looking really good so far, 4 months into the fiscal year. There aren't any questions on that report. We can move to the balance sheets. Start on page 54. And this is just a snapshot at this point in time as of January 31st. Mainly what you're looking at are you know, your assets. I think that I believe the commission likes to get this report just to look at how much cash you have in the bank. So the total of the first two items, claim on cash and investment and logic, that's total $676,370. And then the next page is a continuation and shows your fund balances, net investment in capital assets. Page 56 starts the your Port Commission snapshot report and the profit and loss and cash flow reports. This is the customized report that the commission had requested years ago.
Kind of significant jump on the harbor refuge revenue. Is that the oyster tags or?
No, I think
what
that's
was-
blood,
what was that?
the Bloodworth, I believe, right?
One for?
No,
We're
Bloodworth.
paying that daily rate for that dredge.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not something we can count on. It was paid about 25, 30.
Yeah, I don't know. We still don't know how much longer that is going to be there.
Okay. Just a noticeable increase there, so. Looks good.
I've seen a lot of traffic in there, you know, fertilizer and food oil, it seems to me. Yeah. Yeah,
Fertilizer ought to jump up, but it should already be ranked pretty high right now.
and we'll see that later. But
Yeah.
it looks like there's a lot of activity there. Murphy Graves left Sunday. Yes, from there. Yeah, well, no, he was at Harbor Refuge.
Oh, that one.
No, they're still there.
Oh, they're there.
I was there this morning.
Okay, that's all right.
They were taking on water and different things.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but that grade is gonna work Matagorda days, but I was told.
Okay. That's good.
We've got lots of activities, we have lots of vacancies. We need to figure out a way to recognize all those empty spaces, increase our revenue. Thank you, Ms. Sue.
You're welcome.
Let's move on to agenda item 4. Action items, the renovation of the Marina breakwater. Any groups there?
On the breakwater, and Matt is on here if we got any questions. He reports that we have received construction approval from the health department. I'm sorry, Historical Commission. And he has received comments back from the environmental submittal. And I got an email from him earlier this morning that says he has responded to those and submitted that back. I don't know, Matt, you got anything else you want to add? You there? Hmm. So what? We're not hearing you for some reason. Anyway.
The next meeting then. So
Yeah.
we can get to respond. All right, move on into the CD's agenda item B for CDBG, MIT Cultural Resilient Project and Restoration.
We have a progress meeting scheduled with Mont McDonald on February 22nd at 10:30 to review the analysis results of the alternatives that were selected for review at the last meeting. Raymond, are you planning on trying to attend that meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, anybody else is welcome too, as long as we don't have a quorum. If we do, we just need to host it.
That's 27th
22nd
or 22nd.
at 10:30. And then on the restore project, we do have an update. Shock. We are in fact in receipt of the draft contract with TCQ for the $500,000 restore grant program. We're in the process of reviewing this. I've sent it up to Anne Marie for any comments. And we'll get any comments back to TCQ this week. And so then the next step is, as they're working on the contract, is begin working on the environmental review. So it's finally off dead center. We're moving with it. Still slow, but it's made a significant step in the right direction.
That's the first one.
That was, yes.
Move on into agenda item C. Discuss the report prepared by Baldridge property advisors. That was the folks that we had reviewing our property and our prices and where we're at.
Yeah, the end of July. Oh, that's should be January, not July. We received 4 reports from Valbridge. And those were emailed out to everybody. I think Jim had made copies and let everybody know that they were available for checkout if somebody needed a hard copy. I received no comments from the board members yet. I did let them know that we were meeting today and that we might, may look at maybe having a workshop perhaps to discuss the reports. They let us know if there's anything that they failed to address in these reports or anything, that they need to edit, they will be happy to do that. But they're waiting to get all the comments before they spend time in doing that. And what I did on your desk, Jim and I had kind of taken some time to kind of go through it and compare their estimates with what we're currently leasing the properties for, and trying to just compare where we're at with what estimates he's provided. And I've got that in a couple spreadsheets that I put on your table. There's one for the Harbor Refuge, another for City Harbor, and then another one that compares for the Nautical Landings Marina and Office. They don't really give an estimate for the rentals for the office building, but they do provide comparisons to others here in Port Lavaca, which, we're kind of, in that ballpark. But if anybody's got any questions right now, specifically, if they've reviewed it, or if you want to schedule a workshop where we can kind of go over it in detail.
Do you have any comments on this report compared to the rentals you're familiar with, John?
The Harbor Refuge, there's quite a bit of difference. Everything else is really fairly close. Like the marina, like Jody just spoke of, the marina and the building, we're kind of right in there, probably where we need to be. With the office rentals and the marina slips, I guess the office will maybe kind of a little bit on the low end of their scale, I guess. But we're at least within the window,
Remember, we raised the rate slowly over the past few years, trying to get that somewhere, so that's not terrible. And you say the Harbor Refuge,
those rates are, they're.
Yeah, if you look at the spreadsheet,
That front page.
I highlighted them in green. You compare the annual rental rate that we have right now per square foot versus their annual rental rate in their estimate.
the two green columns is where we're at and where Valbridge is suggesting, correct?
Where they're estimating, yes. So like right now, like with tracks 2 and 10, we're at 21 cents per square foot annual rental rate, and they're showing 95 cents. Now, a couple questions I had for them, initially is like on track 11, they're showing 37 cents per square foot annual. And for track 3, they're showing 36 cents. And I told him that confused me because track 11 doesn't have any dock space or any electricity or any improvements whatsoever. His response back to me was, we didn't realize there wasn't any power out there. But again, he will revisit that when he gets all the comments. But I just thought that was, overstated if 3 is just 36 cents.
I would have to agree with you that we just combined 11 and
But 11 is,
it's a lot, it's large land mass that has been slowly been improved.
right.
So the rate there is probably a little too premium.
Well, wait a minute. This is the guys in the business supply. Making prices. I think if we want to make comments upward or downward, if we got good reason. Personally, I think, looking at them, it's pretty astonishing at the difference what we're actually charging. And we've got a lot of people leases. I have some questions though, specifically about dock rentals, whether they separate docks like we asked them to. I did not see that in the report, Jody.
Yeah,
We would
I don't
probably will start to do a workshop with them. Again, there's lacking on 11, and to make it more expensive, to make it, I would think the smaller track, which is greatly improved, even though it doesn't have a dock. I mean, it's got a dock in front of it. But that's the public dock separate apart. But that's a much improved property compared to 11, which was fallow land until just recently. Okay. And then you have the big one down there, Elena, at 26 versus $1.58. We're giving away.
well, and that one, I had a question with them too, that it looks like that may be the rental rate. I don't know if that's just the land or if that includes all the, as rental, the buildings on there. And I haven't got a response for that yet.
When I get a workshop, if you could visit with them and see if we can
Yeah.
maybe work up a workshop And I don't know that it needs to be a regular meeting. I don't believe.
No,
Take any action in workshop. We would simply just discuss it.
it'd just be a
Right,
workshop
yeah,
setting.
Just be a workshop. I think it doesn't have to be a special meeting. So we can just secure some information. It's wonderful. This is the place to start.
Right.
Yeah, I think honestly, if we're trying to move towards the second column, it's gonna take some time.
And then,
Move from one to the other.
right, and I mean, I
Zero.
yeah, I will point out, there is a statement in the report that I forget who he was talking to, but they, made the comment that, that although these are their estimates, they're, again, it's only as good as who you can get to pay that much,
Absolutely.
and that there is a disconnect right now in the market between what sellers are trying to get and what buyers are willing to pay for. So,
Our market has radically changed with the delay of the
Right.
channel.
yeah,
We've changed the market considerably. We were behind the curve for long, and at this rate, we may be at or above the curve. Who knows? But if you could visit with them.
I will.
And see if we can't schedule a workshop and then reach out to the commissioners and see if we can all make it. The majority of us be there. Is that all right? with
Yes.
y'all?
Yeah.
We don't need an action item on that. Do we need
No.
It's an action item. Just, thank you so much, and Joe Valbridge, thank you, and we'd like to discuss this in depth. All right. Move on then to agenda item 5. Discuss status report of special projects, status report TCQ, June 22nd, track 1717A.
okay, as an update on January 31st, we submitted to TCQ a copy of the special waste profile and laboratory report on the samples taken on the debris that we collected, a copy of the service order for Republic to pick up and dispose of debris at the Victoria landfill. Then on February 8th, we submitted the weight ticket and waste manifest for the disposal of the Republic. Encore has been working to get track 17 and 17A prepared so they can be fully off that land. And we received questions and comments back from TCQ Municipal Solid Waste Division on the request to disturb the cover and voluntary restoration. Matt is working through those questions and preparing a response for submittal.
If someone's out there, if he's got any comments, I'm sure we entertain them.
Yeah, I don't know whether we may be having a problem with our microphone, but
Why don't you see if we can bring?
I mean, Matt, if you got a question, you can chat with me or got any more comments beyond that.
What I'd like to do, we had a couple of items here today that we requested present at the next meeting. So that we can go in depth and discuss those and pin his ears back a little bit.
Okay.
Where we're at, all right? Let's move on then. Agenda item number 6, receive report harbor master's operation promotion development activity. And that's our properties, the city harbor, nautical landings, the marinas, Smith Harbor, and Harbor of Refuge. Jim and I discussed this prior to the meeting, and so many of the items that are on the table for today are under Jim's umbrella. If you have any questions or whatever, as we go through this, raise your hand and bring it to, because there's gonna be a lot under today's umbrella with Jim in charge. Go ahead if you would, Mr. Rudolph.
Okay, City Harbor, I did get on the 14th of the month, February, I got some inquiries back from that Albee Seafood again. Haven't heard anything since, but I think that had to stem from the oyster season, because they did close, then it opened back up, and I think there may be some additional areas that have opened up in the bay for oystering as well. Wild Reef Seafood, of course, they wanted to go back on a month to month, but that all kind of fell through from what I understand.
Yeah, I mean, they've ceased as of the end of January. Yeah, they were talking about maybe renew, keep it going, but then they didn't. So they've stopped as of the end of January.
So the oyster season, as we are today, is seized?
No,
No, it's over.
It's over.
And I think
So we are receiving revenue then? Because their boats are docking?
we're trying to get those boats out of there, right?
And they aren't their boats. They were somebody else's.
Clark's, quite some boats working there. I'm not sure who all, but I know. I've been working with Joey. Joey's helping. We have a document. We're gonna go pin on those boats and try to get them all out
But
of
if
there.
they're not, Mr. Miller's boats, if
No.
they're not Mr. Lynch's boats, or if they're not Wild Reef boats, and absolutely they have.
Yeah.
They have no business being there, right?
we can, tax those voters. What we gotta do? We gotta go to the municipal court. Action commission to attach them. What's the rule? We've done it before.
Well, Colin he puts a sticker on and he runs, that's how it's happened in the past. But I asked Joey to help me with it. And we're just gonna run them out there. That's the bottom line.
If they owe rent for the time they're there. Right?
Well, I don't know how we're gonna handle that because
Because if they're not the lawyers, say give them back. Our lawyer.
well, the boats were there working when Wild Reef Seafood was there. And so they've kind of lingered on. I think they were working through Wild Reef Seafood.
Wild Reef was managing the sacks and stuff.
Exactly. But the way I understand it, the docks have to be certified by the state of Texas, and that dock is certified, so it makes it somewhat valuable, where they can bring the horses. across
Well,
the
we
dock.
made contact with the people on the boat.
We're trying to right now.
Because that's one thing we were having. We had a discussion as far as having a daily rental rate for these kind of things. Because we really don't.
Certified docks through Mr. Tisovich and Asensio, Mitchell, then yeah, there's revenue due to the city from, and I would expect Tisovich and Lenzo to address that. If they're making money,
Well, let's
Well, they-
deserve
They haven't been on that dock since the end of January.
he told Lyncho had told me that those boats were not his boats. And I said, and he's done a pretty good job of keeping them off of
If
it.
they're not under his umbrella, then yeah, they need to go.
They're parking on a,
But so my question was, do we charge them the $200 a day? But we were thinking that's more for a barge. So we don't really have a daily rate for
Well, I guess we can get back to
Oyster
that 330 foot or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I
but
guess.
that's a monthly rate though. That wouldn't necessarily be,
That's a daily rate, isn't it?
no,
No, I think it's like a
that
$3.
$3.30, that's your monthly rate.
What do you get for being a rate?
$20 a day, I think it is. 0 to 30 feet, I think it's $15 a day.
in the fair.
Yeah, and I think anything above.
Yeah, but but they're designed for the marina. But we can use those. I mean, we don't have anything for a shrimp boat or oyster boat.
What are we charging, guys like Big Bear?
Well, they have a monthly rate.
Right, well, there's 30 days a month.
I mean, we can do that. It's just that I would think the daily rate is gonna be more than your monthly rate.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm just saying that's a benchmark to say. And we can raise it.
but all I'm saying is, it has to be in our tariff, to do that.
If it's over 20 foot, over 30 foot is how much, Tim? $20, $30?
$20 a day.
Yeah.
15 and 20, I think the break is 0 to 30 foot or 0 to 35 foot. I guess.
Well, I would go to them with the, if they're insisting on staying, I'd do a premium day rate. Whatever that number may be, 20 is better than nothing.
Yeah,
$30 a day. That's $9.
In the tariffs, I don't know if we say talk about it, but it's in the tariffs. You just use that number, and we should use the sheriff.
well, we use the number for marina boats
Unit day rate.
for the slip rents.
You and Joey and one of our police officers with a ticket book. You can pay the day rate. or you can pay
Code
the
enforcement.
$200, ticket 185 if you're illegally parked or 285, whatever that number may be. Give us your license and your number and everything else, and at least get the documentation, even as a warning ticket. Because it has to produce license and ID, so it gives us a place to go to. We may have to turn it over to an attorney. Because a lot of them been in there quite a while. I'm sorry, didn't mean to go too far. Go ahead. Can we come up with a rate? Because Rachel is frantically working on it.
I'm looking to,
Of course, I suppose,
Let's temporarily, she works on that. Let's look at Miller Seafood lease.
yeah, I talked to Curtis, about his lease. You know, there's been some word that he may give it up, but I think he's gonna go ahead and, he's got, what, 2 options on his lease, Rachel?
What does this lease say?
And doesn't Curtis or Miller Seafood have 2 options on their lease? Okay. And it looks like he's gonna, exercise that option. Good news. Nautical Landing's building, we had a pre-construction meeting on the 15th of February. With Barefoot Construction, he started work the following day.
Building is getting worked on now.
Building's getting worked on now, yes, so, Nautical Landing's Marina, still messing with the Estes boat, abandoned boat, and of course Horizon, it's been there 20 times since the last, Port Commission meeting. The dredge spoils at Smith Harbor, haven't done anything with that, probably start looking at that again. Probably just slick it up a little bit, where people can walk. You know, where it's a lot easier for them to walk across, because most of that material we're gonna use on the big project that's coming, yeah. So, Smith Harbor, let's see, that's about all we have for that.
Home secretary.
So under 35 feet is 1575. Over 35 feet is 21.
You take Joey and the policeman with you and they get a citation, even a warning, they have to present their license and all their information. That'll give us a fallback position. Or they can leave. Go ahead.
Well, we'll get on that. We'll get on that hot and heavy. So Harbor Refuge, Dario Spring, there's not much going on with that. Encore didn't want us to do anything. Of course, right now it's not the time to do it anyway. They didn't want us to do anything until they got all their equipment out of there. Lester Contracting, they've been hauling quite a bit of material out there. We probably had 200 plus loads of dirt. We spread the dirt. We haven't spread, they're dumping the dirt on what, 17? I think it's track 17. We've spread that dirt last week. The stuff on 17A down on the corner, we haven't done anything with that. We're gonna leave that alone until we get all these approvals back from TCQ to work on that shoreline and, that restoration. What is it, Jody? The restoration. What is it called?
which one are you talking about?
The down on 17A. Voluntary restoration.
Voluntary restoration.
We're gonna have to build that up.
Well, yeah, first we got to get approval from
Get all
TCQ.
that approval first, yes. So we, I actually had Gonzalez work on the roads. Lester had bought some select fill material with a lot of clay, sand, not asphalt, limestone in it. So we kind of worked on the road, some coming in because it was in horrible shape from all the dump trucks coming in and out.
Well, the dump trucks and the limb people.
Yeah. Well, that road is still in pretty decent shape.
What are you doing or have you done to remediate where the brush is so that we can get out for it, come in there and haul it off? Have you been in contact
Wayne-
about or something?
Well, yeah, no, I have, but Wayne and them, they've been in there a couple times, kind of cleaning up, that mess that the mulching people left. And it's pretty decent shape there now. I did talk to, Kevin Frankie. He said that he felt like they'd be hit by the end of the month to start moving the mulch. over Point Comfort. So
I haven't been out there, in a couple of weeks. Have we got another call from the mulch people to come grind that up? So
No, we just do that
clear it?
annually. We just do that annually.
sometimes twice though.
We have to pay for it extra. We, I mean,
Yeah, we just done it this way.
we did in October.
Yeah, it wasn't very long. ago,
It was October.
But we don't have that much of a buildup out
but
there.
it was quite a bit. It's accumulating. No doubt.
But
about
the
it.
savings that were provided by Alcoa, I think we'd be able to mulch that and get it cleared out.
Well, I mean, I'll get a price on it, but it's not in our contract. But I'll find out what it would cost to do another one.
That's how it goes, neat, all, yeah. I'm talking to one of the Alcoa people. They love it.
So that's what I'm thinking. If Alcoa is coming in a month, it'd be nice to get it as clear as possible.
Well, they got an infinite needs, so. You know, I know the guy who's kind of responsible for that.
Go ahead, Jim. I didn't mean to say.
Then the last thing here would be the Encore, you know, they're cleaning, they've got track 11. It looks really nice over there. They're kind of gradually getting stuff moved across. I think they've been pretty busy trying to get that dredge, service so they can get it on that job. So there hadn't been a whole lot of working and moving the last couple of weeks, but there is some action taking place there, so.
They're doing a lot of work. All right, with that being said, we'll move on to agenda item 7. Comments from the commissioners. Mr. Nichols?
I think things are moving. I think it's good. I don't remember any comment. I think it's good. Appreciate it, but Jody's doing it. And Jim.
Ms. Traylor?
No,
Mr. Butler?
Think you're doing a good job. I do think your idea about the workshop for the an evaluation folks is a good idea.
We need to stay on top of that. We've been at it for a while. We're getting closer to what, again, what the people want or need. It's good work.
Looking forward to seeing those numbers too, the comparison, what they're basing it off of,
That's it.
how accurate they are. If they're like, said that they're taking into consideration,
I mean, there is honestly, there's a lot of detail in the reports, but then there's a few things that are missing as well. But if you really sit down and read the reports, you know, because I had a bunch of questions and I actually sat down and read it and said, oh, well, he is addressing this in the body of the text, but there's still some questions.
Right, when we talk to them, can we wait on our questions till they get here?
You what?
We wait on our questions till they get here.
I would, if you've got specific questions, please go ahead and email them to me so I can get them to him so he can be prepared and maybe have an answer when he gets here instead of, okay, then he'd have to go back and get an answer, you know, later. If you know what some of your questions are, go ahead and let's shoot them to him and get him to start, you know, responding.
Mr. McGuire? No comments. I have a couple of comments, actually. One, directed to Jody, is what's the status on the railroad maintenance and repair out there? That,
Well, we're still,
Yeah, we're
What
still
was
under
the-
contract.
we're- do the inspections.
Yeah, what was their name?
I can't think of it.
Diamond K. I believe.
Yeah, that's right.
We are gonna have to get on that, you know, and I don't know, Jody and I have talked about it, but we never got back on. I think she's gonna try to get it added on some of this other work, but there's 2 8-foot culverts. You know, you have a corporation ditch that runs under 1090 or South Virginia. Then as soon as it gets on the south side, it takes a turn back kind of to the north or the east. And then you have those 2 big culverts and they're galvanized, corrugated, probably 8-foot big culverts. And then it dumps in that little canal that goes to the bay, those culverts are in real bad shape. And, they're gonna have to have some attention before long.
At one of our previous meetings, we discussed the poor condition of the railroad and railroad crossing. And it seemed to have fallen off the radar. If you would, please follow up on that. And
Railroad
for our next
crossing?
Meeting,
Huh?
have a plan of action.
The railroad, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
It's on the south side of 1090. The deep cut is.
Where the culverts are.
Oh, yeah, where that,
Very dangerous to try a rail car rolling off there, if it collapses on them.
that was had to do with where the culvert is. right?
Exactly, those two big culverts running. They're about, I think if I remember, they're about 80 feet long. But they're pretty good size.
To do a checkup and bring us a presentation for our next meeting, if you would, please. And the other one is, if you are not aware, Mr. McGuire, Mike, has signed up, for the city council position 1. And, in discussion with the election secretary, she said there's no problem with Mike staying on the board until after the elections are done and decided upon. But I thought I would make all aware of that. With that being said, sir,
The secret.
It's not there.
It's also a secret.
see that.
What?
I just heard. Gonna have another comment. Okay, on March the 2nd, I believe it is, the Rotary Club is having the board come give us another presentation on how things are going with the deep and the white. And if you guys want to go, be my guest, I would love to have you there.
This who win?
It's Charles. Charles is gonna, it's March the 2nd. I think it is, because we always do.
Yeah.
Thursday at noon at the Bauer Center. And I would encourage you to come. And, come with questions. We think they're gonna reveal some things that are good news.
And in case you didn't notice, in the very back of your packet, there's a photograph that courtesy of RG Shelley, it wasn't a helicopter, I guess it was an airplane, on the 17th, showing the Harbor Refuge. And I just it was noteworthy to me to show how good the shore looked. And I sent that to Public Works to again thank them for their hard work in December and getting that shoreline cleaned up for us.
Proposed, final items, request that we have a motion to adjourn.
So.
Sorry. Have a motion from Larry Nichols that we adjourn and Mike DeWard. Second that, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, no nays, motion carries.
If any of us plan to go to Rotary, we probably need to notify them because of
Yeah.
the meal.
Yeah.
If you plan to eat lunch.
There's always food left over.
Raymond invited us. So.
Not always. I've been there where there's no food.
Tell you what, it is so good. Lately, there's been not much stuff though. Yeah. Well, just let me know if you tell me.
You guess let's be longer than the ship. Get everyone.
Are you gonna be a lunch?